So now I'm going to admit something to you, Sammy. I asked you to sing tonight. It was a little bit selfish. I needed to hear the voice of a child sing. You're not a child, you're a young woman. But I think you know what I mean. In your voice, I heard Ariel Bibas. In your voice, I heard Kfir Bibas. In your voice, I heard all of the children. And I hope you needed to hear that too. As a parent, it was absolutely crushing to watch the father, the husband, Yarden Bibas, stand at this podium and speak words that are seemingly impossible to find. So when I had to come up with something to say tonight, I looked for the source of inspiration, which is our Torah, the weekly Torah portion. But then I thought, Torah doesn't need to come from the Torah. Torah can come from the mouths and the hearts of the living and of those not living. So Torah came from your mouth tonight, and Torah came from Yarden's mouth as he remembered his wife and children. Shiri, he said, how am I supposed to make decisions without you? Do you remember our last decision together? In the safe room, I asked if we should fight or surrender, and you said, fight. So I fought. I'm sorry I couldn't protect all of you. And even in the depths of his grief, Yarden said, I want to tell you about everything that's happening in the world and here in Israel. Everyone knows us and loves us. You can't even imagine how much strength this gives me. And then to his children, I hope you are not angry at me for failing you. I hope you are enjoying paradise. I remember your births. I remember the delivery room. I remember the way we rejoiced and laughed. I'm so sorry I didn't protect you better. Those are the words of Torah. Those are sacred words from a person who is at the edge, at the very deepest, darkest edge of grief. Letting his children and his wife know that he's going to fight every single day to stay alive, to be present for them. A couple of weeks ago, we took 20 members of the synagogue to Cuba. And we went to visit the two synagogues there. There are between 850 and 1,000 Jews in Cuba. And there are two synagogues. So we went to the first, to the Patronato, and then to the Sephardic Center. And as we were leaving the Patronato, nobody even realized, but somebody pointed out to me a picture on the wall of the synagogue. And it was, to us, it looked like men and women wearing IDF uniforms. So we took a little bit of a closer look, and it was indeed men and women wearing IDF uniforms with the Cuban flag patch right underneath. And so we asked the president of the synagogue, we said, what is that picture? Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And she said, on our tiny island where we have 850 Jews, we sent 20 soldiers. 20 Jews from Cuba who now wear an IDF uniform, who are lone soldiers to go and fight. That's 2% of the Jewish population. The United States, we send the entire population, Jewish population of Cuba, we send about 800 to 850 soldiers to fight, people who choose to go to Israel. That's 0.00087% of the Jewish population here. But it reminded us that the Jewish spirit is unbreakable. It reminded us that on every single corner of the earth, whether we know there are Jews there or not, those Jews, those people, are going to show up in a major way. They're going to sing, they're going to dance, they're going to celebrate Shabbat, and in some cases they're going to put on a uniform and fly 6,000 miles across the world to protect and defend our sacred land. So I think about those Jews in Cuba, those Jews all over the world who choose to go and do something I certainly would never do. And that's the Torah we need. When we started, we sang the words Ve'asuli migdash ve'shochanti betocham, which is from this week's Torah portion. If you build me a mishkan, a portable tabernacle, God says, I will come and dwell there. What happens when we can't find God? So the rabbis interpret the verse. They say, you got it all wrong. You got it all wrong. The Mishkan is not for God. It's for us. It's for us when we show up with our godliness, when we show up with our goodness, and we create the Mishkan. It means that wherever we are is holy. It means that when Sammy sings October Rain, those words of Torah and love that flow from our heart are holy. We've come to the Mishkan. It means when Ian Bush gets up here and does the Shema and is now going to do Kiddush and Aleinu, it means that the words that are coming from his mouth are holy. He's coming to the Mishkan. He's saying, I'm here. I'm ready. As I was listening to you sing, Sammy, and I was reflecting on the week, which is tough if you watch that funeral. Think about your children and their faces and their eyes and their smiles, and you remember that you've got to show up. You show up for the people who need you. You build a mishkan. You bring your godliness to the people who need you most to scaffold that weight, the weight of 5,000 years. So let us all be blessed on this Shabbat with the courage to build the Mishkan, to come with a lev shalem, with a full heart, as we pray for better days ahead for us, for every single lover of humanity. And we live another day. Shabbat shalom.